common thread, so it's essentially for the country directors to present for their CMUs what the strategic priorities are going forward, and to also hear from the region. So Annette and Laura Tuck jointly chaired the meeting, so we had all the country directors, all the senior directors there, and I sort of snuck in to that meeting too. But I think what was interesting is all of the country directors, and what you hear also from the region, is that this is of course South Asia, but this is equally applicable to other regions in whether it's East Asia or Africa or Latin America, is the whole emphasis on jobs and on the youth employment, and so I think clearly this is sort of a huge agenda, for the bank. I mean, if we are to achieve sort of our twin goals of eradicating poverty and shared prosperity. And there's also a lot of talk about urbanization, and of course this is happening sort of everywhere in every region, and in South Asia in particular. By 2050 we expect about it's going to double from 600 million to about 1.2 billion. But let's also remember that a bulk of these people will still live in rural areas. And this is where I think we really need to make a difference, and we can make a difference. I'm sorry I couldn't stay for attend the earlier presentations, but just the little bit that I saw from Santa Catarina, or the cases that Raj and Vinayak presented from India and South Asia, I mean, shows us that there's enormous potential, I think, in the in this sort of space, of creating jobs, for us to sort of really sort of move the needle on where we are on rural employment. So I think, as far as the sort of the agriculture, the food and agriculture, I mean, I really like to call it the food and agriculture GP, because a lot of this is about food systems. It's, as Raj said, it's not just about the productivity. We need to really sort of look at it with a new lens. So we need to look at it from the point of view of as Willem said, either agro-industry, it's the agro-industry, it's the food services industry, it's the rural retail. It's all of this where we are going to create these jobs. So I mean, in South Asia in particular, there's really been a sort of a huge surge in food demand, of course driven by population growth, but also driven by sort of income growth. And again, I mean, the opportunity, the future of the food system, really in terms of adding, creating more jobs, is really sort of downstream, sort of in the post-harvest management, downstream value addition, and so on. And let's remember, I mean, the numbers that are involved are huge, right? I mean, if you're talking about South Asia, just given my given that I've been there now for about 4 years, if you're looking at the numbers, they are going to add about 500 million new workers between now and 2050. So you're talking about from 1.1 billion increasing to 1.6 billion. So where are we going to find the jobs for all of these people? So that's why, I mean, it's really exciting to hear about the agripreneurs, really sort of looking at farms as enterprises. And I think from our perspective, I think Parmesh had alluded to it earlier, we really need to look at our projects differently, because people don't, we are not able to actually demonstrate the impacts of a lot of the work that we are doing, because we are not sort of designing it right from the outset. What are the jobs created? Of course, there are a lot of methodological issues. I'm sure you heard the presentation from Isabella, where essentially it was kind of a ex-post review of the employment created. But we need to be looking at all of our work in this space, right from the beginning, right in the design. How do we measure, what employment we create, and what are the quality of jobs we create? How do we, track these jobs that are created in all of our projects? So, we still have, I think, we had our own sort of South Asia retreat on Monday, and I think what we came to realize there is we still need to do a lot of work on sort of some of the economics of it, and we have to rely on Parmesh and people like Rob here to really make sure that we get sort of the best of the knowledge and the economics sort of into our thinking and into our design and analysis in these projects. And this is, I think it's key for us going forward, both in the, I think both within the sort of the post-harvest agribusiness sector, but also equally in the non-farm sector, which is not just in South Asia, but in many parts of more globally. Non-farm income now in rural areas accounts for more than 50% for bulk of the households. So I think this is clearly a space that we also need to explore. And I think it's exciting for me because I think this is something that's new, and I think we really need to put a stamp on this, and the partnerships approach is going to be very important, both internally with IFC colleagues. Willem talked about having more Lorraines and so on. We definitely need to be have much more closer partnerships with our TNC colleagues, with IFC colleagues, because we need to get that the new brains that Willem talked about. It's new brains for us too. It's not just for the people in the rural areas. I mean, we need to be thinking about this in a new way, and bringing in new partners, private sector and so on. Because I think ultimately, the whole issue of creating more jobs in the rural sector is also going to address the issue of inequality, right? I mean, we see growing inequality, and if we create sort of more and better quality jobs in the rural sector, and the opportunities are enormous. I mean, I was looking at the numbers. It's in South Asia alone, it's like a $3 trillion industry, and this is just talking about the agro-industry side, right? So if you look at sort of the creative industries, the cultural industries, rural retail, and then also linking with tourism, which again I think we've not been doing enough of. I think it's a huge agenda. It's really exciting, and I'm really happy to be part of this group. And anything that we can do from the management side to help you all with this, to help you sort of really look at everything that we do with a jobs lens and what we are doing for rural employment, within the farm as well as the non-farm sector. I'd be very happy to support it. I mean, you have Jürgen and Ethel's full support on this too. So I just want to say, please continue to keep the Santa Catarinas and the Afghanistan and the Rungs and AP projects coming, because I think this is what we need, and this is where we really are going to make sort of our stamp on the institution, because ultimately it's about the impact that we create through our projects, right? So, and I think if we can sort of make a dent on the whole issue of jobs in rural areas, I think this is the agenda that everyone needs to be working on. So thank you very much for inviting me, and